Internationalisation is a key part of UWTSD's strategic plan.
Wish to explore Chinese culture.
Insight for understanding of what the culture shock means is to promote the mutual communications.
Chinese well-being traditions.
Cyfarchion o Gampws Llambed, Prifysgol Cymru y Drindod Dewi Sant. Greetings from the Llambed campus of the University of Wales, Trinity St David. I'm delighted to reaffirm the university's commitment to the valued partnership with Beijing Union University. The University of Wales, Trinity St David and Beijing Union University have operated the Confucius Institute successfully for 14 years. This building behind me was the birthplace of higher education in Wales in 1822. The Confucius Institute at the University of Wales, Trinity St David, was the very first in Wales, opening in 2007. It was also the first Confucius Institute in Wales to open Confucius classrooms in schools and colleges in Wales. Over these past 14 years, the Confucius Institute has become a vibrant presence in the Welsh educational and local community. Internationalisation is a key part of UWTSD's strategic plan. We are particularly proud of our close working relationship with Beijing Union University. Our Confucius Institute plays an important role in promoting intercultural understanding between China and Wales.
We opened officially in 2017, so we've been operating now as a full Confucius classroom for more than 5 years.
Okay.
Prior to that, 3 years before we got the accreditation for the classroom, we were still hosting handman teachers. So the process was quite lengthy, but we gradually introduced Chinese through clubs. Then we tried introducing it with some beginners in year 7. And we then expanded into offering it as a full GCSE subject. Also explored HSK levels 1, 2 and 3.
大家好，我叫杰卡布，我这次读的这首是李白的《静夜思》。
我的中国名字是西西。
Do you like learning Mandarin?
我喜欢，
你喜欢？
我真的喜欢。我觉得很有意思。
So over the past 5 to 8 years, we've continued to grow the number of qualifications that we offer, and also through our handman staff and also through our British Council assistants, we've been able to really develop the cultural programme and also the range of activities. For example, the tea ceremony, some of the wellbeing activities.
Before I took the job of CI, I have not had very insightful understanding of what the culture shock means. But when I came here, the culture shock, not only the difference among, between the habits and the customs, but the difference, what the people thinking about the relationship, the people understanding of the society. Because different people, they live in different countries, they have their own culture, history, and heritage. So I think that's very important to understand the culture shock. It's very hard, to totally understand and apply it into the work.
Good. Yes.
Nietzsche, how Lama? Have you eaten well?
Good. Water, I have eaten. Good.
For nature, I haven't eaten.
Good.
I think the Chinese that we do here, that Mrs. Gong has brought in, it's not just the letters and the words, it's some of the culture as well of China, and I think it is always helpful for children to have an understanding of cultures that are different from their own, and the Chinese culture is quite different from the Welsh culture.
Our Welsh culture, we also at the New Year have a similar tradition where young people and children get money. So we see parallels between the cultures, and we sort of embed the Chinese culture, but we're also learning more about our own Welsh culture and European culture through the study of Mandarin. So it works both ways, and we've always had a very happy collaboration between our teachers from China and the school.
祝贺威尔斯萨米省大卫大学孔子学院成立15周年。Llongyfarchiadau mawr i Brifysgol Drindod Dewi Sant a benblwydd sefydliad Confucius yn 15 oed.
The Confucius Classroom is a great asset in Penglife School because it enables us to provide Chinese as a language in Key Stage 3. That's to say to children aged between the ages of 11 sort of 13. So all our students in Year 11 have cultural experiences of the Confucius Classroom, workshops.
It's a fantastic resource. I mean, we are very fortunate in terms of the teachers that we've had here from Confucius. They've all been first class, they've been really good in teaching the children the language, but also immersing them in Chinese culture. Them to appreciate their own identity and their own culture, and compare and contrast with other cultures is very important. It makes them think about who they are, where they come from, and also appreciate other people, appreciate other values, and listen to other people's points of views and perspectives, and actually think about the way they behave. And hopefully it's a skill they take for life. It's a lifelong learning skill maybe. They compete with everybody globally for jobs. It opens massive doors and opportunities for them. So hopefully they will persist with the languages, especially Mandarin. And those connections are really important. I'm sure that some of the children here, if not most of them, they will be eager to visit China. It's satisfying for us in terms of if somebody comes to our country and they just greet you and say hello, good morning in your language. It's a heartwarming thing, and hopefully they'll be able to go to China and take a few Chinese people by surprise by greeting them in Chinese.
I know our shirts say tea, and one of them is green buds, and some green buds, the waking of insects and more, and they all last for 15 days.
Global just doesn't mean European languages. Global means further afield, and China is a global player. I think the earlier we introduce them to an international language such as Mandarin, when they get older, they could use that in their future careers.
Yeah.
Here in Wales, we are about to implement a new national school curriculum. Improving education is our national mission. Nothing is so essential as universal access to and acquisition of the experiences, knowledge and skills that our young people need for employment, lifelong learning and active citizenship. I would wish to refer to another key facet of the work of the Confucius Institute. Building on the Confucius Institute's experience in Chinese well-being culture, it is increasingly focusing on research and education in self-care practices such as medical Qigong. The Confucius Institute too is playing its own special role to support and restore mental and physical health of our people in our communities. As part of this special focus on Chinese well-being, it is also developing a range of new courses such as tea culture and philosophy. So many new developments, I could go on and on.
I see something in a lot of these Chinese well-being traditions that I think is really useful in my life. Working in a busy job like everybody else, we have challenges, we get stressed, and you have to have something that helps you balance that out. And I've certainly found that in following different kinds of exercise routines, Yangshen practices, about self-care, it's not just the practices themselves. I think it's the philosophy of those practices. I think that there's something very profound in the idea that we should be responsible for our own health and well-being, and it's something that we should try to cultivate, not just go to the doctor when we don't feel well and have some tablets. It's something to help us be part of a healthy family, healthy society, healthy world. The things that I've really enjoyed studying, which I have studied a little bit, maybe not so specifically Chinese medicine itself, but maybe various healthcare practices.
The exercises are divided into 8 sections.
The paper cutting is one of the most popular Chinese decorative folk arts. Traditional paper cutting, also called the window blossoms.
So as you can see from the different shapes of the board, the top board and the bottom board, this shape has got similar shape as the human being.
How Chinese calligraphy evolved over thousands of years and introduced the basics of Chinese calligraphy.
百治不如一防, and it means no treatment is better than prevention.
I find that there is something really valuable in that. So where that relates to the well-being practices that we've been promoting and working with members of the public as a Confucius Institute, I think that's worth sharing. And I think there are a lot of people in the West, certainly over the last 20, 30 years, that's been quite popular for people to explore Tai Chi, maybe for people to start exploring Qigong. Chinese medicine is something that people turn to when they find that conventional medicine doesn't help them. So, I think there's a very receptive audience for different kinds of Chinese well-being practices here in the UK. And I think as part of our work as a Confucius Institute, it's something again that we can help people understand, and it can be of benefit in their lives. People have come from the community, from the locality, from further afield to come and experience lovely workshops, calligraphy, paper cutting, listening to some wonderful Chinese music. There's always going to be people who have a deep love and wish to explore Chinese culture and who want to exchange culture. So it's not just a one-way sort of journey, it's a two-way journey. People from Wales coming to share their culture with us as well. So I don't think that's ever going to go away. So I do think there's always going to be a role for a Confucius Institute to enable this kind of intercultural exchange.
The richness of Chinese culture is that you had thinkers like Confucius who were promoting the idea that people should act responsibly towards society rather than just out of their own selfish interests.
大家好，我叫伊甸。我这次想分享的是刘叔通的松变。在1915年的冬天，一个下着大雪的日子，李叔通和他的好朋友要分离了。他非常伤心，在雪地里站了1个小时，然后他流着泪写下来这首诗：长亭外，古道边，芳草碧连天。
大家好，我是 Scott， 我来自英国威尔士。今天我要给大家朗诵的是《牡丹亭》。到园林，赠之春色如絮。
Local people, they not only enjoy from the Chinese culture workshop, but they also share their own culture. Welsh culture, Welsh civilization, Welsh language. So I think that's a main task for CI in the future, is to promote the mutual communications, both for Chinese people and for the Welsh people.
I think it's just so interesting how when you and I have explored this together and we've uncovered that there are some fantastic resources at BUU, for instance with the tea culture and the tea philosophy, with the special education college, people with who've got visual impairment or some other impairment are learning life skills for their own future jobs and ability to sustain themselves, but also doing some good in society with those practices.
Having visited Beijing Union University myself in December 2019, there is an even greater need today for international cooperation, academic exchange, and sharing of values. This is a proud Confucius Institute. It is an ambitious, proactive, and forward-looking institute. The University of Wales, Trinity St David, looks forward with great energy and enthusiasm to continuing its close and highly valued partnership with Beijing Union University in support of the Confucius Institute for many, many years to come.
们家。